Hey everybody, this is Al with El Rey Collection, and I am here today. Wow, this is on the outside. Look at that. To open a PSA submission. I think it's 75 plus cards or something, and so I'll try to go relatively quick. As far as I recall, all of this stuff is pretty much vintage. But let's see here. If you guys got any questions, comments, or want to talk about anything while I'm kind of pulling the stuff out of this is a value bulk from, hang on, 1975. Let me see if I can read this. I'll read this when we get out the last one. So we've got 4 of these to get through. Let me see what they say here. So 1, 2. This is interesting. They actually have numbers on them. They didn't normally used to have numbers 3 and 4. And this says value bulk 1979. But there's a dash. Oh, or older. Okay, lane 4. It was entered in the system July 25th and due back October 25th, which is about a month late. Domestic shipping. All right. And then let's see if this corresponds with my paperwork. It was received on July 24th, and this is at $19 a card. So actually not a super cheap submission by any stretch of the imagination. So without further ado, actually, let me see if somebody is, if you guys are kind of on here, who's are gone. Hello, we've got Hulk cards. Hello. And then I always get, no matter what's going on, Jose Roberto Nis makes the appearance, which is pretty awesome. Thank you for that. And then, these are the best big PSA return. Yeah, so it's pretty big. I don't think it's gigantic, but there should be some nice stuff kind of sprinkled in here with some more common stuff. But let's just get to it. This is, I guess, should I start in order? I guess I'll start in order. Number one. Hope everybody's having a good start to the week here. Monday. Okay, look at this. Free advertising for PSA. And let's just take these out in one fall swoop. And let's take a look. All right. Well, we've got a pretty cool card to start off with. This is the 1942 Glorietas, and they're from the album called El Deportista. And this is J.M. Moreno. You can see it's missing a piece. It's literally got a hole right here. You can see it better on the back. But this is one of the few cards of J.M. Moreno where he is in the Argentina kit. This album was made for the 1942 South American Cup, which is now known as the Copa America. So it's really kind of one of the first tournament albums. Really cool. I love the stash. Obviously, don't love the hole, but these are super tough stickers to get. And here is not just one, but a second one that doesn't have a hole, and it has a pretty clean back. Now these actually have some printed backs, but most are blank. So a couple. Wow, this is kind of a big start. a couple pretty big Jan Morenos kicking off the night here. That is pretty cool. All right. Happy with those. Oh, and there's a bunch of ones from this album that went in. And as part of this album, it also talked about other winners of big tournaments, including the 24 and 28 Olympics. So you get a few. This is a Jose Andrade. Again, this is from 1942, and it's kind of a homage card, like it's for him and others from those great Uruguayan teams. Wow, this is pretty huge. And you've also got a Dominguez da Guia, one of the probably the best defenders on the Brazilian team. Let me see here. We're expecting. Hey, how's it going? Tutol Mobile, nice to see you on here. The this one in particular does have the back. So you can see El Deportista, and here you go, the Campeonato Sudamericano, which is the South American Championship. Pretty cool, right? And one of the best players in VG3 condition. Pretty. You got to be happy with that. And here's a Jose Nasasi. Again, this has a different type of back. This is El Deportista. Un producto de la fábrica Glorieta. And here is the same card. This is also a 1. Wow, this looks way better than a 1. But see, look at these backs. Yeah, at least we're getting totally true. At least we're getting standard PSA holders on these so far. Let's not claim victory yet. Although the boxes. Well, there's one bigger box, so hopefully that won't kill us. But let's take a look. And then again, here's the here is another Nasasi, and this look at these cool backs. So this says on the back, Los Laureles conquistados por nuestro campeonatos de fútbol. So this is cool. I mean, some of these, I mean, one's a little harsh. Oh, I guess it's got some extra paper on the front now that I see that, so that's probably fair. But I kind of expected mostly 1s to 2s. The other here's been a 2. Okay, here's a Scarani. Okay, this is a 2. And again, this is a nice back here. And actually had another one of those. I actually had 2 of these albums. So those are pretty cool. You don't see many cards, and I'm just going to put them up here in the interest of time. So here's a Pedro Patrone, and another epic player. And one of these came back a 2, and one came back a 1. So these are very, very fun sets. Angel Romano, also, there were 2 of those, and one similarly came back a 1, and the other one a 2. These do have the printed backs. Sabile, who at this point I think is the coach of Argentina, obviously a great player in his own right, but he's the coach here, looking a little older. Here's a 3. And a blank back, and then I mean that's the 1, and then here's the 3 in the blank back. The 1 you can see the paper removal here. Still super fun cards to go with the Argentine team, and then you had Cervino Varela. So lots of Uruguayan stars. Here's another Argentine star, Jose Salomon, and Emmanuel Masantonio, who you'll find a lot of his cards from the 30s. Pretty cool. Again, super cool to have them in the Argentine. Mostly you're going to find them in their Argentina. I mean, their Enrique Garcia. So I had tons of stickers from these albums. These were some of the best copies that I had, with the exception of the Moreno that had the hole in it, but it's Moreno, so you gotta kind of grade that. All right, that was box one. You see, I'm trying to be efficient here, so we don't get overly hung up. Um, so let's see. I really think when it comes to soccer, PSA started. Yeah, I think I think they're overly harsh sometimes on the low grade stuff. Certainly relative to baseball. I have lots of things in baseball stickers, baseball cards that are twos, threes, fours that any rational person would pick a PSA two soccer card or even ones over some of those. So you know what it is. As long as it's consistent in general, but the problem has been not everything's been consistent. So um, this is another big thing. Yeah, so these new PSA slabs. Look at this one. This is pretty cool. It's one of my favorite sets. This is the Balas Futebol set from the 1950 Americana World Cup album when it was held in Brazil. And look at these backs. These are all going to be probably ones and twos. But this is Carvajal from Mexico. I think is the leader until maybe when Rafa Marquez overtook him, but he was basically a stalwart on the Mexican national team from the 40s through the 60s. So obviously pretty amazing guy, as well as Casarin, probably two of the more important Mexican players um, of that era. So happy to get these in. This is a set that I would consider doing, not at $19 a card, but I'm super happy to have these. And look at the backs are not great. Like this does deserve a one, you know, but still super happy to have that. And here's on Andrade. This is the nephew of Jose Andrade that won, but still a great player in his own right and a World Cup winner in the 1950s, in the 1950 World Cup that won in El Maracanazo in Brazil. So that one's fun. Actually, I got to find a different place to put these. I guess I'll put those here for now. So definitely had a few of those. This is really fun card. This is the Falcao. Here, finally, something I know. Poor Jose Roberto Diaz is always wondering, where's your Brazilian stuff? And I've mentioned to him it's been hard to kind of find Brazilian stuff. But here's one in PSA 2 condition, the Falcao rookie. Really nice, and that really nice kind of framing going on right here in this latest thing. So happy to have that. Probably one of the bigger Falcao cards. And then this is a fun one. This is a 1955 King chewing gum, a Copa card. Very fun. Nice to see them grading these. Obviously, not great condition, but any Copa card from France is a nice find in my mind. And then we've got some. Let's do this one first. This is Zito. I love this 1960 Jose Inocente set. It's from the Figuerías Bola Narede. Pretty bad back, but I very underappreciated. Great World Cup winner, Zito. Love that. Then I had a bunch of cards from Figuritas Disneylandia, which is a 1962 set from Starosta, which also has a bunch of homage to players that weren't playing in 1962. And these were right out of the package. So they were literally ripped and right out of the package. Never stuck, all of these. So I expected to get high grades. And this one is a 7, but the unfortunately, just the way that they cut these things, you can see, I mean, it does deserve the miscut, right? It absolutely does. This Disneylandia set, how did they know? See, there's no name on it. You need to get the name off the album. And this is Jan Moreno with his little mustache there. Yeah, let me see. Yeah. So, hey, yeah, Nils. in honor of you. I think I got that card from you, if I'm not wrong. So again, thank you. And then the Falcao stickers for the Olympic Games. Yep, in Munich, 1972, which is an awesome sticker. Just trying to keep up with some of those. The dots on the border. Was that the Falcao sticker? I don't remember. Oh, yeah, it's these. Yeah, these are cool. This is the dots on the sticker from the 1950 Balas Copa del Mundo. This set. I just love the set, and it has the Americans in there. Not to preview something that's coming. So this Disneylandia, I have a few dupes of this, of these types of stickers, but I tried to send in the best condition ones that I had. So let's see how I did, even if they were miscut. I sent them in. So here's a 7 MC from. So we also have Antonio Sastre at a 5. That's nice. So it doesn't get the miscut, slightly miscut, but this one's a little worse, but the card's a little better. So this gets a 7 MC, and you can see mostly on the back, very, much more clearly that it wasn't a perfect cut, but you can also see on the front these thin borders. So there's that. And then you got Adolfo Canera. This one came in a 4. And then here, this one came in at a 3, which I really don't get. Oh, I think I know why. Okay, watch this. And this is where some of this inconsistency you talk about. You'd say, hey, what is that? You know what it is? It's foxing, which comes about when humidity oxidizes the card. And this is a problem on some vintage cards. It's a problem on maps and other paper items. And sometimes they downgrade that, but there was recently a PSA, I want to say PSA 7 or 6 Baggio Forza Gold that had foxing, and they didn't downgrade it like they did this. This may be the most dead-on centered one that I had. And okay, yeah, there's a nick on the front, so it probably would have ended up, at a 4, but still, that can be a little frustrating. Now, this is super fun for American collectors, and I know there aren't that many American collectors out there, but this 1950, Brazilian set, Americana Brazilian set, had the American team that beat England 1-0 and effectively knocked them out of the World Cup, even though they were one of the favorites. And so all the Americans are in here that were part of the team. The problem is they got a lot of the names wrong. And so, this almost none of the players are the names that are on the cards, which is frustrating. It also happens in the 1950s Tingle set, but it kind of is what it is. It's myself and other collectors have maps of the real players if you're ever really interested. But here's allegedly Wallace. That's not Wallace. I can't remember which ones are which right now. I really need to go through the photo. I've done the work, so if anybody wants that, I have it. Here's allegedly a Perini, not Perini. Here's Jatens. Jatens does not look like this. He was of Haitian descent, so that's not Jatens. Sousa, not Sousa. But anyway, it's fun to have the entire American team here, and certainly it's one of the very few collectibles you can have of American soccer. So very, very fun set. Some of the other ones, again, this is the Varela from Uruguay. You had Telmo Sara was in this World Cup, and obviously the great Spanish prolific goal scorer. You have Jair. I know this was a disappointing Brazilian team, but they were still amazing and made it to the final, and really just great players on there. You have Stanley Matthews, although doesn't really look like Matthews here, but he was on the UK team. And here's Wallace on the US team, although again, I don't think this is Wallace. I think maybe one or two of them are right, but I just can't remember right now. And I didn't really know it was in this box, so I couldn't double check before before, because I don't want to check the grades. And actually, I didn't even check those grades that I was showing them, but I'm pretty sure they're all ones and twos. Yep, 2, 1, 2, 1. Yep, that's what I expected. And sorry for my dog scratching over here. All right, so on to number 3. Let's open number 3. Actually, I'll see if there's any comments. Nope, none. So we'll get into number 3, and then as we discussed last time, there was I did a 35 card submission, and what I did this time was I put down what I thought the PSA grades were going to be. So I'll issue that video here at some point. It should be fun. And those are a little bit higher value cards, and I think they're in the what is it, 79 or $99 range. So those are, basically cards that are, in general, I'd say $1,000 card plus. So there's a 35 card submission, and I will have a video of those cards telling you what I think the grades are going to be. Some were cracked out of SGC, some are just raw. I sent everything in raw, so we'll see how that goes. And I'll post that video first, and then I'll post another one where we can all get together live and see how good or bad it is. One thing I did realize when I'm kind of preparing for that, because I needed to scan the cards to show you to see if you had any difference of opinion, is so much, as you've seen in this submission, so many of these cards are just twos, ones or twos. So, whether it's a 1, a 1.5, or a 2, I guess you can get the unexpected higher grade or an authentic, which would be a bit of a bummer. But most of the cards are going to be in there. So for vintage stuff, not super relevant. It's not like we're going for 10s and 9s like modern, which I know makes a huge difference. I don't know how much of a difference this Andrade is in a 2 versus a 1.5 versus a 1. I don't think it's a tremendous. It's not like it's exponential, right? Maybe in a 3 it gets a little bit more like that, just because of the the fact that it was probably never stuck a 3. Okay, so there's a couple more of these Disneylandia ones from Starosta, and this is a 6. It's pretty nice. Look at that centering, pretty cool. I like these. This is the Ferrara. Then you've got a Felix Laustau coming in at a 6. It's an MC, as a lot of these are. You can see pretty clearly. Now this back actually looks better than some of the other ones. And here's a 4, which this one actually probably looks better than a 4. It's a straight 4 though. So what would you rather have, a 6 MC or a 4? I mean, this one's definitely cleaner, but it's, that centering, goes to my OCD. So, I mean, gosh, I'm probably going to take the 6 MC in this case, but that's not a general rule, eh? It's really card by card comparison. Here is a Beckenbauer 66. I know we're jumping around here. It's kind of weird. Here's a Beckenbauer 66 sticker Verlag. That came back at 2. Man, I really thought this one was never stuck. So that one's a bummer for me. I thought this one had some potential to be like a 5 or a 6, I think, when I sent this in. So that's a bit of a bummer. A 2. I do wonder sometimes if the graders just get in the mind, since most vintage Sakura's are 1s and 2s, just everything's either a 1, a 1.5, or a 2, and then just as I say that, we get a 3 on one of my least favorite De Stefano cards, the Te Unico out of Peru cards. But and these come in different colors, so you'll see them in pink and green, really kind of flimsy stickers. Some of them are better than others. This one's a little scary because it's like, not a great cropping job on that, but it is what it is. These are really fun. This is the pony set. I really enjoy this set. This is from 1946, and this got a 2. Maybe it was removed. Well, I didn't think this one was removed, but there's no clear paper loss. And when I inspected these, this is one where I probably would have put it as like a 4. But maybe there is some minuscule paper loss that I didn't see. Sometimes you also need to rub your finger across them and see if it changes. Sometimes our other senses are better than the eyes. Certainly my eyes. Here we also have the Antonio Sastre and the pony. This one did come back. You see how I sold it? I thought that would probably be a 4. This one does come back a 5. So maybe that one did have some paper loss. But this also looks really solid the way that this is holding in there. Really kind of like the way this is going. And then here's Arsenio Rico, leading goal scorer in the Argentine Premier League. And this is a 4. Super tough to find these, never stuck. So super happy with that. And remember, he's Paraguayan, so probably one of the best Paraguayan players of all time. These are, actually, yeah, one question. Here we're going. So we've got one. Yeah, I mean, that's basically it. So it's like not super exciting. The Beckenbauer I don't think is trimmed. I mean, I sized it against other ones. These are all different in terms of FHER, Conga. All of these sets are slightly different. So this one lined up well with the Sicker Verlags, and it did get it got a numerical grade, and they know what the dimensions are. So I don't think it was that, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I think they put on them, or this not anymore. You see, they used to put hand cut on these here, but they don't anymore. And these were not hand cut. Some of the ones that look just like this are hand cut, but this one is not. This one actually comes in packs, as far as I recall. So if I'm wrong on that, any German, please let me know. But I'm pretty sure that those are not hand cut. At one time, they had a number of those that they said hand cut, but I think they've since changed them. Well, you can know they've changed them because they don't say hand cut anymore here. Here is a 1935 from the album Campeones. And this is a really cool Nasasi to my eyes. Not the most expensive one, but really cool. I love that visual there. Obviously a terrible back, but super happy to have this. And this took a while to get this sticker graded, although that album's been around for a long time. Here's another copy. Once you can get them to grade these things, the floodgates open and you send in all the copies you have. So here, again, thrash back, but pretty happy to have those in holders. Again, Nasasi, El Capitan, right? One of the more important players from the, early to mid 20s to the early to mid 30s. And then here's the other one from the set. Really nice red kit here. And again, this one has a much nicer back, but it still has some damage right there. So there's the Nasasi. Then back to Te Unico. And by the way, when I submit these, they get submitted like all the Te Unicos together. So I'm not exactly sure what happens on the jumble. On the way back, the Puskas is a much better framing than the Di Stefano. This one comes back a 4. Pretty uncommon album. The Te Unico out of Peru again. So let's see. We're talking about the Beckenbauer again here. Let me go back to this. Vector 66 doesn't undersized, looks similar. Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe, yeah, double check that, Clark, maybe. Remember, there's lots of different of these sets. This is the Sicker Verlag, and I measured this before sending it in with my other Sicker Verlag ones, and it lined up. That's something that I typically do. I don't really like getting A's on my stuff, and I usually do quite a bit of work ahead of time to make sure to minimize that possibility. So yeah, so that's a great question. Who's a good person at PSA? You can go through the research module on the website. I've had kind of hit or miss luck with that, and sometimes Beth, who I think runs the research department there, will reach out to you. Actually, most of the time now, I'm just putting in the comment section of my submission, like what book they should look at. And I know Matt Hendler at PSA has copies of these books. So if it's a Portuguese book, I'll say, hey, in Chromopedia, page, whatever. Actually, I recently submitted one from here, so it's a good example. Whatever, page 168, you'll see in this book by Chromopedia by Hugo Silva, you'll find that, because I know they now have a pretty good library of soccer stuff, and they can pretty much check things. I just had I just had them reach out to me today, say that on my 35 submission that they couldn't find 4 cards. So I sent them incredibly specific information about those 4 cards. Hopefully they'll get that. Another problem, especially with the Argentine issues, is sometimes like the sizes, or there's like 2 or 3 different types of sizes in the same set. 1977 crack football is a perfect example. As you have singular pogs, but you also have rectangular cards. And so sometimes if these books don't show all of the variations, I'm fighting with this with the 1950 Palm set, Starosta Palm set out of Argentina, where they only show the smaller pogs, but they don't show the drivers, which are horizontal, in the pictures. I need to go get copies of the albums, and a lot of collectors around the world will help me do this and submit them to PSA. It's a process, and normally I would, if you're going to submit cards that haven't been submitted before, I would definitely expect, not the delivery times that they advertise. For instance, on this one, they had said it was due on whatever, October, and it got here in November. So it's 1 month later, but you can see all these gaps of cards that had never been graded before, right here. So right here. So now some of them were from sets, and this is why I also try, you can see on the back end, there's a lot that hadn't been graded, so that it takes a little longer to research. But also I try to kind of make it worth their while. One other thing that I found is that if it's a one-off card, let's say they've never done this. Look at this Pepe card. Nice looking card, right? These Jose Inocentes. If you just sent in one of these and it's just a one-off, I've noticed that, especially in a bulk submission, they'll just be lazy about it and say, oh, we don't grade it. But if I send, 5 cards from the same issue, or 7 cards, they'll put in a little more work and have a higher probability. So look at it, it's more art than science. Wish you the best of luck, and hopefully those submissions will work out for you. Hola Valencia fan, how's it going? It's going well. We're just anytime we're getting cards from PSA, it's really fun. So it's a good Monday. Great way to start the week. So I just showed the Pepe here. This is one of Jair's last cards. So that's kind of fun. We saw him earlier in the 1950 World Cup one. Here's a 1953 Zizinho. It's a little thrashed, but it comes back a 1. Really like him, underrated guy. Look at the Jalma Santos coming back in a 1953. Of course, there's a little piece missing here, but I just love the photo on this. Love the colors. These are all hard to get. The back is pretty thrashed, but just having any of these stickers is really cool. That was a 53. This is another one. Why are there sometimes 2 cards from the same albums? Because a lot of the players will be in their club kits, And then also if they're on the national team, which are a lot of the most collectible players, they'll also have one. And here's the Djalma Santos in the Brazilian blue and his club kit. So that's why you'll see that. It's rare to have a submission that had two Dominguez de Guias cards. So this is obviously a later one in his career, but that's pretty cool to have. The back is Thrash, but to have two Dominguez cards. The other one was in the 1942 Glorietas, and then here's another U.S. Player from that 1950 Americana album, which I'm getting a little disorganized here, guys. So, but I got slabs all around. I'm buried in slabs. That's fun. Maybe I should put that in my will. That's kind of weird. Buried in slabs. All right, so that was number 3. We've got all these guys here. And now number 4 is going to be box number 4 right here. Oh boy, it feels heavy. So, maybe it includes some oversized holders. Oh gosh, I hope not. Let me take a deep breath. Oh, okay. Well, I see 4 oversized holders. Let's get the bad news out of the way first. These don't need to be in oversized holders. At least this one. Okay, folks. So this one, look at this. This card completely fits in a standard holder. This is just driving me nuts. This is from the 1970. I've always loved this sticker. The 1970 Mundial de Football. I guess because this was in Mexico by a supermarket. Herrera. They're still around today. This is fun. It's a great album. Actually, I have the album here. Just so happen to have the album here. This is the album that it comes from. Right? So very, very big. The album's big, but the stickers aren't that big, and they don't need to be in they don't need to be in this holder. Gosh darn it. It 100% fits in this. Oh man. Okay. I guess I'll just take a deep breath. We've got Lev Yashin. Also, they put in this. This is a 1. Also, really nice car things. Hey, great, Ed. Yeah, just you can. There's lots of different ways to collect football cards. A lot of the people on here are like super experts as well, so certainly lean on them. Join our vintage Discord, where there's a lot of stuff where we talk about it. Super interesting, difficult, deep area when you're coming in. So just watch and learn a lot before diving in and throwing your money all in one place. And there's lots of different ways you can go. Countries, clubs, individual players. There's so much information out there, and so cool. As far as Kempes cards for Simon Valencia, yeah, sure, but those are late 70s. His rookie is a POG. There was one that just sold on PWCC, 1974. Really nice sticker. I have that in a POG. I have that in one of my videos where I opened PSA. I'm pretty sure because I think I got the highest graded one of those, which is pretty cool. He also has another 75, very interesting one from Argentina, which is not a POG but is a rectangular. So if you DM me on the Discord, I can send you a scan of those Kempes cards so you can add them to your most wanted list. So we also have this Beckenbauer from the 1970s. So I guess I was not expecting these. This one I was expecting to get in a bigger holder. This is the Di Stefano, one of the most beautiful cards that I think have ever been made. And this one was obviously removed. You can see, but the back is still largely intact. And that front is just absolutely gorgeous. I had resigned myself that it wasn't going to fit in the standard holder. And the reality is it does super closely, and I understand why they don't want to run that risk. So this one I'm actually okay with, even though, I don't love it. This card still is absolutely amazing, and there aren't many of these in PSA holders. There's a couple in SGC holders. I think I have them, but it's so young and such a great looking card. One of these is just one of the best sets. They actually have a smaller version as well, and there's two different sets. One's 54-55 and the other one's 55-56. That look substantially similar. And I think there's large and small from both of those years. So, so there was some stuff they didn't grade. And then here's the last ones. Then I'll get you back to your Monday night. Let me just check any more things. I feel, I know it's super frustrating, Kevin. I know they're looking at it and trying to decide what to do. I understand the risk of not wanting to damage something, but these are all 1.5s, anyway, and these other ones, it's just so frustrating. But well, whatever. We'll see what we can do about those. They may at some point have a time when they'll switch those back. I just have, unfortunately, too many of those larger sites, and they're so hard to store. Let's see what they didn't grade in here and why. All right. Let's see. So, yeah, well, that's great. It's a great place to start, and actually, some of the more epic cards, some Tatty cards from 1907 for Bloomer and Meredith just sold at PWCC last night. Some really great cards, but there's a lot of knowledge. Bill, Collect Football, is one of the most knowledgeable. You'll also see Scott on that. Interesting here. So there's a Pele from the Te Unico that says no spec, no information, even though they graded the other Te Unicos, and it's the exact same issue and the exact same size. So that's a little interesting. We'll come back to that one, but a little surprised that one didn't go. But it's kind of good. I think that if you only get one card that they're not grading out of a 75 card order, I think that's pretty much a victory. It's a relatively low value Pele. Anyway, okay, so where were the last ones? Did we see these? No. Okay, so these are, okay, so here's Jair. I think that's good. And yeah, it's a really great community. Thanks, David, for welcoming him. Really good stuff. Yeah, and I also agree with this, David. They should also. I'm putting now, please, on my submissions in the comments, please put in standard slabs. I'm putting that as a comment in caps. Hope it doesn't annoy too many people, but I just yeah, sure. You want to see the Pele, but this is from a 1966 album called Te Unico. And I think they've graded the sticker, so they should have had this in their spec. And for comparison, we had one over here. I'll show you. Here's the Puskas. So here's the Puskas. Here's the Pele. And how do you know who they are? When you have the whole album, you can see from the size perspective, it's the same size. So I'm not sure why. Not smaller, not bigger. I'm not sure why they decided not to do this one, but I'll probably resubmit it and get it done then the next time. So that's the Pele. This was the Jair. Evening peeps. And then here's a Ferrara and a 4. This one barely misses. I think because of the 4, it barely misses the miscut. Not quite as bad as some of the other ones. Put that in the Disneylandia file. Put this in the Brazilian file. And then you got Abdulio Varela. This I think I consider this his rookie sticker. PSA 1. Really important, player for the team, for the Uruguayan team that wins the World Cup in 1950. And here's another version as well. So I had 2 copies of this. Both of them came back ones. This one I expected. I expected a little higher on the other one if you want to look at both of these together. I guess it's probably fair. I forgot about this crease. But I thought one was clearly better from the other. When I look at it on the screen, probably not. They're probably both deserved ones. And then we've got Lolo Fernandez, probably one of the better Peruvians of all time. And he comes in out of 2 here. And then we've got another couple more of the Americans. I graded all the Americans, and these are coming back at ones, 1.5, which is what I expected of the 1950 World Cup team. And then we've got, well, this is for Nils, right? See, he just let one of these go. Beautiful card. These guys label it as 58, 62. Chewing gum. This is a Copa. So that's super fun. And then also a Fontaine. Pretty uncommon cards, that you see. So this one had a little bit of writing and a mark on the back. But with these things, beggars can't be choosers. When you find these things, you just gotta get them. And then, last but not least, probably the card that I most wanted in this entire submission, and it also got the highest grade. It's the Zizinho. There's a Brazilian album from 1941, but this card is just catapulted this way to one of the top cards in my collection. Hopefully, Jose Roberto Inés is still here, because this is a Zizinho from a 1942 Fábrica Glorieta album, and it comes in at a PSA 4 with just such a nice back. Not his technical rookie, but his first card in a Brazilian kit, and also just super hard sticker to get. Just love this one, and can't. This is probably, now thinking out of, the Varela rookies are also huge on here. There's a lot of fun stuff in this submission, but this card, I'm glad actually ended up in the last pack to look at, because this is amazing. And look at, I love how it has a printed back. So that is kind of the state of the state, gentlemen. Quick, tried to be as quick as possible. 75 cards is a lot of cards. Again, if you've stuck with me this long, I'd love if you could like the video. It doesn't cost you anything. If you could subscribe, that would be great. I'm going to have a series of videos here over the next couple of weeks. I got, again, a big PWCC return. I have other PSA returns. I have my PSA submission guesses, and I have my top cards of the 2000s video. So yeah, a lot going on here. Going to be a lot going on here over the next couple months. I'm also going to revisit my 2023 predictions here next month and see how I did, because at this point I don't even remember what they were. Hey Graham, yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was a great. I enjoyed the sub. I think the grades on the margin were a little lower. There were some surprises to the high end. Probably the most bothersome part are the oversized slabs. It didn't need to be of that, but there's only four of them, all from the same issue. The Zinio really picks up the whole sub for me, so that's pretty good. And yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. Tutel Mobile, if you can give me a like. You guys want to have some comments, feel free to put the comments. No, I need to do that, Jose Roberto. I haven't done that yet, but I will certainly do that. And again, appreciate all the love. If you're not a member of the Discord, please join. If you don't subscribe, if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. And also post any comments of your favorite cards in the comments on the video on YouTube. And until next time, we will, oh, look at that. Yeah. So that colonial is awesome. I love it. Well, maybe we can work out a trade here, Graham. And thank you, Ed, for watching. And thank you, Jose Roberto. Take care, everybody. Keep fighting the good fight. And we will see you on YouTube again and on the Discord. Take care, everybody. Have a good night.